We are live with another episode of BS Busters. I'm joined by Jewel and Kenoshi. Let's let the lady introduce herself first, and the gentleman, and then we'll dive into it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, to the BS Busters and the podcast. I am Jewel, ready, Lemon Star, and of all the things to happen this week, thank you, gay boy.
Yeah, Lord Gaben, Lord Gaben did some cool shit. I don't know.
I'd be iffy about that if I were you.
Especially
if I remember right, the last time Steam tried something,
I'm being facetious.
It wasn't
I'm being facetious. Because we all know that, like, okay, let me put it this way. This is only as good as how much Valve is going to actually support it. Because remember the Steam machines? They were like, yeah, Steam machines, yeah, it's going to be great. And, like, they supported Steam machines for maybe a year, and then they like, oh, well, you know, fuck it. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway,
Kenoshi?
Introduce yourself.
Kenoshi Abominito, here to say that the Nintendo Switch Pro was announced, and it was called the Steam Deck.
Oh, come off it.
Well, I mean, like the Steam Deck. Like, okay, let me put it this way. Everyone was saying we want a Switch Pro. Well, the Steam Deck is basically a Switch Pro. Like, it's basically the closest you're gonna get to a Switch Pro. Because Nintendo's like, okay, some of our games are struggling to run with our hardware. We won't address that. Instead, you know what we're gonna do? Better screen, better screen, updated dock, and a better stereo.
Better audio.
There you go. They still, by the way, haven't fixed that Joy-Con drift even in the new model. I'm like,
mean territory.
Man, how do you not fix that shit? No, look, it's not me, it's them. You want to get mad at them for seeing a major issue and not fixing the shit, okay?
I know already. That's the thing that bugs me the most. If anything, usually when it's not talked about, it's usually that they're working on it or something, or they're trying to do something else.
It would be remiss of me. It would be remiss of me to not mention it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Personally, and I know this is going to sound kind of bad, I think if Nintendo was really serious about the Switch OLED, I think they should have phased out the original models of the base home switches and just switch everything over to the OLED. Because it only cost Nintendo $10 more to make the OLED versus the base Switch. So why not just phase out the base model and just switch it all, no pun intended, switch the base models over to the OLED. Because, I mean, if I would tell anyone, if someone said, okay, which version of the Switch I should get, I would say go for the OLED just because you do get more bennies. You know, there are, like, even though the upgrades are, in my opinion, kind of minor, because I mostly use my Switch in docked mode. Actually, I'm not going to say mostly. I only use my Switch in docked mode. But, I mean, you do get more bennies out of the new OLED hardware revision than you do out of the base model. So, I mean, you know, that's what I would go with. Just like, fuck it. The Switch is now $350. But you get more little bennies out of it. Maybe include one game. Just to say fuck it. Like something throwaway, like Swiffer clips or New Super Mario Brothers U, some shit like that. But, you know,
that's a 2-player game.
I
mean,
you could do 2-player or 1-player. Like I just think Nintendo should go back to having, even if it's like something that would be equivalent of now like a $30 game or a Nintendo Select game, something that's like they don't really lose any money in including it. You know what I'm saying? Like
they should have done. If they wanted to keep the base Switch around, they should have dropped the base Switch to 250 and then made the OLED 300.
Yeah, but they're losing money that way. I'm just saying it probably would be better if they just switched over production. Say, look, after next year, we're not selling the base Switch anymore. It's all going to be the Switch OLED. Kind of like how they did with the 3DS, how they stopped making the original 3DS and switched it all over to the new 3DS. That would have been smart. I'm just saying. Because I mean, even though I'm busting Nintendo's chops a little bit, the Switch OLED looks awesome, and the little the hardware, like the minor upgrades to the hardware, in my opinion, even though they don't appeal to me personally, because like I said, most of these things are designed to appeal to people who mostly pay the Switch portably. I mean, if you're gonna get a Switch, even if you're gonna use it portably very rarely, why would you go for something where when you're playing it portably, because trying to play the Switch portably for me is a pain, because I can visibly see how the system's struggling to run certain games. Now, it's my fault because most of the games I have for the Switch are the ones that are very demanding. Like I have like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey, and trying to play those games in handheld mode, don't let people fool you. You can see the system, like remember when you were a kid and you would have like that remote control vehicle and you would try to make it like go up a hill or something, the battery would be kind of suffering and you could hear the motor in the thing struggling. That's basically how my Switch feels when it's trying to play something that's really demanding in handheld mode. And that's just for me, so that's why I don't really play a lot of games in handheld mode, because going down to 30 frames per second and a lower resolution and the system struggling to run certain things, like I don't really want to play games like, especially games that are like really, like I want to enjoy all the graphical fidelity of Mario Odyssey. I want to play Breath of the Wild without it crashing. I want to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 without it struggling to load areas that I fast travel to. And you get far less of that when it's in docked mode than you do in handheld mode. So that's why I play most of those games in docked mode. But hell, the OLED looks great. I mean, Nintendo's adding the OLED that Sony touted with their Vita years ago. Nintendo's adding an OLED probably while they're way cheaper now to make than back in the day with the Vita. So Nintendo waited for that withered technology to become withered, and now they're going to use it while it's cheap. Smart business move. So yeah, the Switch OLED looks great. I'm glad Nintendo announced it. I just think maybe they should have just said, okay, once we're finished with the base models, this is going to be the new model that we're making forward. Which I wouldn't be surprised if next year they announce that.
I was gonna say, if the moment that happens, hello, price sharks.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. Like I said, the Switch OLED, I mean, I'm pretty sure 60, 65, maybe 70% of the people who own Switches are using it portably. So it makes sense that the Switch OLED would be geared towards people who are using it the most, which are probably people using it portably. I'm in the minority that I mostly use the Switch. Actually, 95% of the time I use my Switch, I'm using it, docked. Mode. Yeah, I'm using it as a console.
And sadly, I'm one of those as well.
So the OLED doesn't mean shit for me. But, Steam announced the Steam Deck, which to me looks fucking awesome because, I have a lot of Steam games and I can play those games on the go, and that's just fucking awesome to me. That's my own personal opinion. That's awesome to me. And I will give Steam this much credit. Unlike Nintendo, which released the Switch and didn't have any backwards compatibility and didn't even let you carry over your digital games, which is kind of a dick move. With the Steam Deck, I don't have to pay anything to play my games on the Steam Deck, which is great.
In a sense, I was going to say that that's because of the people's demand that they want to move forward and don't care about the backwards compatibility.
Normally I would agree with you, but for digital games is where I have a problem. Like for physical games, you're right. It's just there's no way you can use Wii U games on the Switch unless it's digitally. But like for digital download games that have been on multiple devices, like I don't see why I have to pay for that shit again.
I was gonna say for me as a physical person that bugs me more than the digital side. And
the thing that gets me is full price. Like they couldn't even be bothered to be like, okay, well, we'll give you like I will give Nintendo this much credit when Iwata was there. They brought shit over. They're like, okay, look, you wanna play these games on your Wii U. It's like $5 or some shit. It was like a ridiculously low price, like $1 or some shit, or 25, 50 cents. Like it was like, okay, this is okay. I'm okay with this. But I mean, with the Switch, I'm like, fuck you guys. I mean, could you not stick it so deep in my ass, please? It's like, do you have to fuck me over? But it is what it is. But anyway, the Switch. The Steam Deck looks cool. I actually am looking forward to it. I hope that it does well. Now, I mean, like I said, it's all going to depend on how well. It's all going to depend on how well Sony.
Don't you mean Steam?
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. I was reading something that was about Sony as like a breaking thing. It's all going to depend on how well Valve supports it. But considering how scalpers are fucking snapping the shit up and people are trying to get first dibs, I mean, it's probably going to do okay. Maybe not great. It'll probably do okay.
I'd say I'd wait for any physical testing results, because scalpers are usually ones to inflate egos and prices.
Yeah, well, the scalpers I'm not too worried about, because I'm pretty sure people will get their hands on it, like people who are actually legit people and not scalpers who will be able to tell you, because I'm pretty sure that the Steam Deck is probably going to have a heat issue. Because there's no way, let me put it this way, okay? Even the Switch, despite its myriad,
yeah, you're right.
The Switch in portable mode gets hot as fuck, especially if you're playing something that's demanding.
Like that. Yeah, I was gonna say for small things.
No, it's not that bad.
It'll heat up after a good while.
For small games, it's not that bad. Like if you're playing Blaster Master 2 or Blaster Master 3. I don't know if Blaster Master 3 came out yet. If you're playing
or some kind of 8-bit game or something.
Yeah, if you're playing like a small indie title, something that's not very demanding for the GPU and CPU, not that bad. But fuck, if you play something that's like really demanding, like Xenoblade Chronicles
Smash
2,
Bros,
I never played Smash Brothers on in portable, so I don't know.
I had.
But
it gets kind of hot when there's 8 characters to worry about.
Yeah, but that shit gets hot. Yeah.
You're playing Ice Climbers.
Yeah, that shit gets hot. So what I'm saying is the big thing is that if the Switch has troubles with heat and it's not nearly as demanding as what's going on with on the Steam Deck, I would wager that the Steam Deck itself is also going to have heat issues. So I mean, you know.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's also a little bit heavier.
Oh, it
as well
is.
as thicker.
It's heavier. It's thicker. There's a lot more going on. So, you know, it's gonna have a heat issue.
Yeah.
So you'll probably just want to play it ducked. Although Valve is already talking shit. They're like, Valve has done a ton to avoid stick drift, increase reliability on Steam Deck. We didn't want to take a risk on that, right? Y'all had to throw some shade. Well, they had to. They had to throw shade, okay?
Look, it's a problem. The whole drift thing is a problem.
And I hate to break this to you, but this isn't just a Nintendo issue. Every single console manufacturer that has controllers, this gen, I've noticed, like with the Switch, my Xbox controller, my well, I don't have a PlayStation, but I have friends who have PS5s. They will tell you that all of those control sticks have been drifting. I don't know what the fuck happened with these console manufacturers this gen, but they've been fucking up on the hardware with the peripherals. Now, to be fair, my Pro controller is in good shape for my Switch, but my Xbox One controller for my PC, my Xbox One, well, not for my new Xbox One X, that's pretty good, but because it's brand new, but for all my other shit, controller drift is a motherfucker. So you know. It's an issue. It's an issue. I don't know who's making these peripherals, but they've been fucking up. They've been slipping. You've been slipping. What's wrong with you? Why you slipping? Anyway, so what are the pros and so what do you guys think of the Steam Deck? Do you like? Okay, let's map out. You know, if everything works out and it actually turns out to be something worthwhile, do you see this being a decent contender to the gaming sphere, or do you see it just being like a, you know, just a thing, just a passing fad, and we'll keep it moving?
I'm gonna say this, and this is me being a little biased with Nintendo, but also keeping it serious. I'm kind of mixed on this. I really am. I mean, I'm hoping it doesn't turn out like the last time Steam tried to make a console.
You mean the Steam boxes, where they basically pulled a 3DO?
Yes.
Yeah, the problem with the Steam boxes is that, yes, obviously Valve has somewhat learned their lesson. And they're actually, you know, making a product, you know, that's made by them.
Mm-hmm.
And it isn't, you know, they're not trying to outsource it.
If they pull a Steam box, I'm not going to give them any more respect. I'm hoping that they don't pull that off.
Yeah, it's all going to depend on how they support it. If they legitimately support it and they legitimately put their backing behind it and really put some real, you know, if they put some real power behind it, I'm gonna be cool with it.
I could actually look into it. Yeah. That's the thing. I want to honestly see how it turns out and see if it actually moves the needle. But I have that bad feeling because of the Steam box. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all gonna boil down to the Steam box. If it's like the Steam box where they support it for a year and then it just, when it flounders, they say fuck it. You know, but I like something in how Valve has been putting, you know, and plus they put Gabe Newell in front of it. Because notice, Gabe Newell was never in front of the Steam box.
Not really, no.
They never put Gabe Newell with the Steam box. It was always like, yeah, Valve, we're gonna do this. No, I mean, there was never any press conference where Gabe Newell was talking about the Steam box, where he said anything about the Steam box. It was always someone from Valve talking about the Steam boxes. They never put Gabe on the shit.
Another problem with the Steam boxes and why they screwed up is a lot of these companies were overcharging for some of these computers.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like the 3DO. It's just like when the 3DO was released, and they had like different people making the 3DO. It's like some 3DOs were a good price, other 3DOs were like, fuck, they're trying to fuck me over.
It's like they had five.
Yeah.
They had like they were like
5 SKUs.
charging you with these many PCs that had 5-year-old hardware.
Yeah.
$1,000, and you don't actually get a dedicated graphics card. It's an integrated one.
And
Well,
What?
to be fair,
as much
the
as
Steam Deck doesn't have a dedicated graphics card either.
Yeah.
But they're not charging you $1,000.
and
for it.
also,
No, they are not.
I was gonna say, also, as much as I know you guys praise Gabe Newell, I have that same bad feeling with it. Since I'm gonna use a game that I ragged on quite hard. For example, Artifact. They tried to put Richard Garfield up front to try to promote it, and that game sunk like a battle.
Yeah, but that wasn't Gabe Newell.
As much as I say,
Like that's the
saying Gabe Newell's
Richard so and so. That's the guy who helped create Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah, Garfield.
Yeah, he's the guy who helped create Magic the Gathering. But was he still working at Magic the Gathering when he came to when they hired him to run his mouth at for Artifact?
I was going to say that he has moved on to other games. So if anything, I can get where you're going at.
I mean,
I'm just saying, even with a famous face, I'd be a little worried.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, we'll talk about this later. But okay, it's like Tommy Tallarico with the Amico, right? If you guys have been watching those videos, if you guys been watching, well, we'll get to it later. But I'm just going to use this as an example. Tommy Tallarico, like, unless you're someone from the 90s who played a lot of Sega Genesis games, because that was his big claim to fame, is that he made the music for a lot of Sega Genesis games. I think he did both compositions for the SNES and the Genesis for the Aladdin game for the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. And the music's good, but, like, here's the thing. No matter how much you might like Tommy Tallarico, you wouldn't trust him to be in charge of a video game company. Like, I love David Wise's music in all of his games. I think David Wise is one of the best video game composers of all time. I think in some ways he's better than Koji Kondo just because his music has more depth to it than Koji Kondo's music. I know, blasphemy, but like Koji Kondo made tunes that were within a certain memory bandwidth and played repeatedly over and over, but were in such
earworm.
Yeah, the melody was in such a way that it wouldn't get annoying. Okay, because you notice a lot of the 2D platformers back in the day had music that after 2 or 3 levels of that music got really fucking annoying. Koji Kondo's music did not, and it's iconic. Like Legend of Zelda's music, Mario's music. Like Koji Kondo, he's one of the GOATs. But David Wise's music was, I think, a little bit better just because he had more genres he was doing in his music. Like, you had jazz, you had funk, you had rock, you had technica. Like, there's a lot of different layers to that shit. A little bit more than what you had going on with Koji. But both of them, like, either one, if Koji Kondo said, I'm retiring from Nintendo, and David Wise said, hey, I'm retiring from whatever the fuck, I'm a musician, and now we're going to sell you a console, I still wouldn't trust them, because just because I like the music doesn't mean they know a shit about making a successful console, even if they made games that were on successful consoles, or they were part of working on games that were on successful consoles. That doesn't make them a good console, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like the guy who helped make Magic the Gathering, yeah, but he doesn't even work at that company anymore. He left. They bought him out. And Valve just wanted to make a quick, like a Me Too game. Yeah, they wanted to make a Me Too game. Not Me Too as in the Me Too movement, but Me Too as in these card MOBA games are getting popular. We want one too. Look, CD Projekt Red tried to do that shit with Gwent, and it didn't work. Okay? So, shit didn't work. Speaking of companies getting into games, apparently Netflix is gonna be the Netflix again.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Brother,
the thing is, Netflix has enough.
My face off this one.
Netflix has enough money to pull it off, but they have enough money to pull it off, but do they?
Library?
Well, I mean, they have enough money to pull it off, but do they have a good plan? Because here's the thing: you can have the best ideas in the world, but if your execution sucks, doesn't matter. That's where people always fuck up. They're like, "Oh, this was a good idea." Doesn't matter.
Let's say if the execution sucks so terribly, it'll set the idea back years.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter how good. It doesn't matter how good something is. It's all about what the execution is.
Yeah, but I was saying that if the execution's done wrong, it could set it back for years. Or worse.
Well, I want it to be good.
Thank you, VR.
I mean, I'm going to keep it real. Okay, the more successful entrants into video gaming we have, the more competition we have, the better other people have to be. Like, think about it. If Netflix comes out with their Netflix gaming thing and it's good, that's going to force other people's streaming gaming services to be good. That means that PlayStation's streaming gaming service is going to have to be good. That means Nintendo's Nintendo Online is going to have to be better than it is right now. Because right now it is mediocre at best. And I don't mean that as in the pejorative sense. I mean mediocre as in the definition of the word of median or middling quality. It's, you know, it's not great. It's not terrible. It's okay. But it could be better. It could be better, you know. So, you know, good competition that's done well means that everyone else is gonna be like, okay, well, we got to be better. We can't just be doing some shit. I want to see that. I want to see shit being done better. So,
That was the thing that's some of the things I said earlier in some podcasts, that if we get good competition, then it'll move the needle some.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like I remember back in the day when Sony and Microsoft, or not Sony, when Sega and Nintendo were sniping at each other, and they fought with the only thing they could fight with, the games, right? They had to fight each other with the games. And look, Sega and Nintendo, it doesn't matter because we were all getting good games, okay? Good games were coming from both sides, you know? So if Netflix is serious and they actually put some effort behind it and not just, you know, oh, we want to get into games. Do you have a plan? No. We have lots of money, though. Because Google had a lot of money. They fucked up Stadia, didn't they?
Just make the joke. Stadia says hello.
Yeah. Google had a fuck ton of money. They fucked that up. Fucked it up.
And if Netflix want to join Stadia in the trash can, do what they do.
So, like I said, I want it to be good, but I'm not going to be like, oh my god. If it isn't good, I'll kill someone.
I was going to say, basically, I'm trying to keep it from going perverted, but hold your sandwich.
I guess so.
Does that work?
Not really. It comes out as not making much sense. But I get what you're trying to go for. But yeah, I mean, like, people need to understand that shit. You know. But anyway, so yeah, that's my thing. Which leads to, speaking of people over their head and not knowing what the fuck they're doing, Tommy Tallarico. Tommy.
Get to this guy earlier.
Well, I mentioned it as an example of why, just because just because they bring someone out doesn't mean someone who was integral to something. They're selling their name. It's like when GameStop put Reggie Fils-Aimé on the board. Do you honestly think Reggie Fils-Aimé was part of the day-to-day fucking operations? They cut Reggie a check and they said, "Can we use your name?" He's like, "Sure." Give me my money.
I was gonna say he was mostly used for promotional material.
Look, Reggie been eating good, because I remember Reggie back in the day when he first joined Nintendo. He was kind of in shape, and then over the years, as Nintendo started doing better, Reggie got bigger and bigger and fucking bigger. Reggie is not skipping meals for anybody, okay? Reggie ain't missing no damn meals, okay? Reggie wants his fucking money, okay? So he can keep on eating his filet mignon and his foie gras and his fucking fine dining.
I was about to say, from pizza to video game consoles, he's getting his slices.
He's gonna eat his fine dining. He's like, look, I need my 8-ounce steak, all right, my filet mignon, with a baked potato, cream spinach, and my glass of wine. Finished off with an aperitif between courses in order to cleanse my palate, finishing it off with a lime sorbet made with key limes and grated zest.
Yeah. Okay, you're starting to get me hungry.
Reggie ain't missing no fucking meals for nobody. All right. You can look at that big motherfucker and tell, no, he ain't missing shit. But anyway.
Yeah, though, if anything, hopefully Reggie's hitting a lot more than what our guys.
Like, Reggie's like, my body is ready. Yeah, just make sure Reggie doesn't body slam you, Snorlax style, because then everybody's gonna be fucked. Anyway, so speaking of, basically Tommy Tallarico has gone on damage control on Nintendo Life, a site I used to go to, but now since they did that softball bullshit interview to Tommy Tallarico, I cannot in good faith go to their site anymore, because these people call themselves journalists and writers, journalistic writers and interviewers, and yet they don't ask any important questions, all these softball fucking questions. And the more I hear about the Intellivision Amico, the more I just, for some reason, I'm getting the odd hint of bullshit. Lots and lots of bullshit. And I've my ability to read a situation and tell if someone's trying to bullshit me. You have to be able to do that when you're in business, because a lot of people are going to try and bullshit you. And you just have to be able to be like, okay, this is bullshit. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the more I hear about Tommy and the Amico, the more I'm like, Tommy, you're full of shit, Tommy. You're full of shit.
What is the Amico again?
The Amico is
those are in the dark.
Is a crowd-funded, like, basically Tommy became the face of this group of people who got the rights to the Intellivision, and they decided to bring the Intellivision back as a console. And he's basically positioning, this is from his own mouth, he's positioning the Amico as a alternative to the Wii and Wii U and Switch.
Sorry.
This is out of his mouth.
Did I hear that right?
This is out of his mouth. He said, if you want to play games with rape and violence and child abuse, go play on the Switch. I'm like, what the fuck games are you talking about, bro?
What are you talking about?
Excuse me. What in the name of Ark did I just hear?
That was, if you go on, if you watch the videos I posted from Pat the NES Punch and the Intellivision Amico, you would get
reading.
Yeah, you would get some of the stuff. But basically, Tommy is basically whenever he's given pushback on what he's talking about, the bullshit he's spewing, he starts threatening people with litigation and banning people, or he goes to safe sites where his little acolytes and minions attack people. And it's
crazy.
Well, I mean, he's a huckster, okay? Basically, here's the thing. I think Tommy initially, and this is just my 2 cents, my observation. I think that Tommy initially wanted to bring back the Amico, the Intellivision brand, and I think he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and I think he started cutting corners in order to move the project along. But here's the thing. If you don't know what the fuck you're doing and you start cutting corners in order to move something along, eventually all those spinning plates are going to fall. And every time we've seen a console that was released like this, where people were just doing shady shit in order to keep the project moving along, it's fallen apart. And now we're seeing the Intellivision begin to fall apart.
I was gonna make the joke that it's like the first project of a new company is developing an MMORPG.
Yeah. Whenever, because remember, like 10 years ago, the big thing was we're gonna develop an MMO. It's like, do you know how fucking expensive MMOs are to develop? Like, literally, MMOs are arguably probably the most expensive game you can develop, because
you probably need 20 million.
Oh, more than that.
Just to start out.
More than that. Much more than that. You're looking at 10 years ago they had a AAA budget. So 10 years ago, if you wanted to create an MMO, you were looking at least 50 to 60 million. And that's like a mid-tier MMO. That's not like World of Warcraft. Okay? This is like mid-tier.
I said 20 million.
No, you couldn't even do it for 20 million 10 years ago. It was expensive back then. 20 million was not enough. You're looking at least 50 to 60 million, and that's a mid-tier MMO. Those are MMOs that now have probably become defunct and don't exist anymore, okay? But basically, you're looking at 50, 60 million 10 years ago. Then you need to have money to constantly churn out content so that people will continue to play it. Okay, and if you're talking about the old model where you had to have subscription fees, you had to maintain a certain amount of subscribers every month so shit would get paid for, and no one could do it except World of Warcraft. Not even the Old Republic, which was a Star Wars licensed MMO, could maintain its subscription base, and that was Star Wars back in the day. It couldn't do it. So, I mean, my point behind all this is to say this. MMOs are perhaps the most expensive games to develop for. They are really fucking expensive. They're constant money sink.
They're the black holes of video games.
Well, I wouldn't say they're a black hole. It's just, I mean, like, because think about it. MMOs live or die based on their content, right? Like, even if you have a huge amount of content.
Community and content.
Well, I mean, community is there, but really it's the content. Because, like, here's the thing. Like, people play the game, they might form clans, play with their friends, but really, people are going to come back for the content. So if people know, okay, I've maxed out my character, I've reached the highest level, I'm at the end game, okay, what's next? And you're like, oh, we don't have new content for the next 6 months, people are going to stop playing. And you lose that subscription. So, really, like, if you have a good MMO, you have to constantly put out content.
Yeah, I mean, the only other reason that they wouldn't, I mean, if content wasn't their target, is was the player versus player aspect, and I'm not sure how many people are into that.
Very few, like, okay, like, they're very, like, most MMOs, like, okay, the king of MMOs right now is still, World of Warcraft. Then Final Fantasy 14 came in, and they're starting to eat into their market share. But really, like, World of Warcraft, like, PvP is, like, I'd say 30-40% of World of Warcraft. The vast majority of it is PvE and raids. Where people are fighting raid-level bosses.
I was about to say, those are mostly the outlier stuff.
PvP is still, like, even the PvP in World of Warcraft is very much like it's like capture the flag and hold this objective on a map. It's not really that much you versus another group of players very often. it's like special game modes and shit. It's not like, oh, we gotta fight them and they gotta fight us. But anyway, here's all I'm saying. Tommy Tallarico has, he's pulling off a lot of shady shit, like really fucking shady shit, and I'm just like, I wish people would,
call him out.
Well, people are calling him out on it. People are calling him out on it because you can only, like, here's the thing. It's like that old saying, you can fool some of the people some of the time. You can fool a lot of people a small amount of the time. You can fool a few people a huge amount of time. But you can't fool everybody all the time. And so at a certain point, the layers of bullshit have to be expunged. And that's what's happening with Tommy Tallarico. Tommy!
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which game system had the mob behind it and failed, because that's
the Gamebryo.
I'm feeling this is gonna end up like.
I want to say the N-Gage. Let's see, the mob, or maybe it was the Gamebryo. Here, let me check. The mob made handheld. The Gizmondo. I was like, it's the Gamebryo. No, it's the Gizmondo. I knew it started with a G. I know it started with a G, okay?
Yeah, the Gizmondo. Oh boy, if this ends up like that, be ready for Gizmondo version 2.
I mean, I don't think it'll get to that point, but I think this shit's gonna be like the Ouya.
And we all know how the Ouya went, don't we?
I think. Well, the Ouya was a good idea. It's just they didn't have the money to really pull it off. Like the idea of having a mini Android console where every game has a demo, so you can check it out and you can just play games, is nice. The problem is that, I mean, like, okay, let me put it this way. The problem is that you're having an Android-based console. The hardware is not really up to snuff, so you can't play certain games. I mean, you're seeing that now with the Switch to a greater degree, where like there's certain games where the Switch just can't run because the hardware just can't do it. So you're having to use a cloud-based solution. But here's the thing: not everyone has a good enough internet to run cloud-based games. So it's like there are entire games that you just can't sell on the Switch to certain people because they just don't have the means to do it. The hardware is holding back some of the games that can come to the system, which means there are potential sales that are being lost because of the hardware limitation. But I mean, with Nintendo, like their first-party games are always going to sell, so Nintendo's going to make their money either way. But for people who, like, this is their only console and they don't have anything else to play third-party games on, there's entire third-party games they're not going to get. Although, if you're a Nintendo, if all you've ever played are Nintendo consoles, you should be used to getting fucked over by third parties when it comes to games coming to a Nintendo system. So, but the Switch has a lot of new people. Because I remember I was on Twitter a few days ago and a guy said, I had to explain to my child after they played Fire Emblem Three Houses on the Switch, that like there are other games in the series, but they're not on the system. I was like, yeah, because like here's the thing: as Nintendo gamers, we were spoiled because like from the 6th, 7th, and 8th gens, your shit was backwards compatible at least 1 or 2 gens for consoles each. Like the Wii was backwards compatible with the GameCube, the Wii U was backwards compatible with the Wii, and if with handhelds. If you have a DS, you can play Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, Game Boy Advance games. You have an entire back library of shit you can play with a DS. That's fucking amazing. We're spoiled. We don't have that now. Like if it's not on the Nintendo Online shop, the Nintendo Online library, you ain't playing it on your Switch. If it's an old-ass game that they don't have digitally available, you just ain't playing it. So, but I mean that's the price you pay. That's the ever running tide forward. Next we have Nicktoons Smash Brothers ripoff.
Right.
Could be a good $15 game.
Now I don't know how much it's gonna cost. I'm gonna look it up because
I ain't paying
I'm
$60
seeing this
for
gonna
this.
end up $40.
I might get it. I might get it for my Switch because I haven't played my Switch since Paper Mario Origami King, and I need to play something on my Switch because it's just gathering dust right now. It is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm playing it every day. I'm not playing it. I played Origami King. I hate played that game, and then I recently went back and played it again for my review. Shameless plug. I have another installment of review where I re-review old games to see if I go back and look at them and say, yeah, do I still feel this way? I re-reviewed Paper Mario Origami King. Watch it. It's coming out Saturday at 10:30 or 10 o'clock. Not Saturday. Friday, the 23rd, next week. Look forward to that. It should be fun. I don't know how much it costs. If it's under $60, I'll get it.
I was gonna say that if anything, I wait for the I wait to see how the mechanics work because so far I've seen a good bit of action, but not a lot of Oh, so that's how come this was a win or not.
Here's three things, okay? If it's cheaper than $60, if it has unlockable characters, and if they do have DLC, they're not fucking me up the ass like Nintendo does with their DLC for Smash Brothers Ultimate. Hopefully, you know, and if the single player is decent. I mean, at this point, it's direct competition with Smash Brothers. If its single player is better than Smash Brother Ultimate, then I'll probably get it. Because I really want to play.
I'm laughing my ass off of that.
Well, I mean, that's a really low bar because the single player in Smash Brothers Ultimate is terrible. I mean, it's not as bad as Smash 4, but it's pretty bad. It's not bad. It's a basic bitch. You know, it's a basic bitch. It's basically the Smash Brothers single player last gen was like you ordering a hamburger and you not getting any lettuce, tomato, mayo, just a little bit of mustard and a bun, and that was your hamburger. And that's a basic bitch right there. This single player is the equivalent of, okay, you've got a lightly toasted bun, lettuce, tomato, mayo, and a little bit of mayonnaise. And that's it. Brawl's single player was a lightly toasted bun, lettuce, tomato, lightly, caramelized mushrooms, onions, Gruyere on top of that bitch, and a dipping sauce on the side. For your burger. It's like, wow, this is a lot of single player.
Overrated.
Well, I don't think so. I think, okay, you had the classic mode, which every Smash Brothers game has had the classic mode since the original. You had the All-Star mode where you like play through, the thing. But then you had the fucking Subspace Emissary, which I know a lot of people hated that because they're like, this isn't a very good platformer. It's like it's a beat 'em up. It's not supposed to be a good platformer. But I liked it because I liked like the little things and finding little stickers and finding little secret paths and shit. It was great to me. I enjoyed it.
But have you really trusted that line? Because if anything, not all characters are able to platform, and the ones that do are usually the lightweights, and they get smashed.
You're talking
to oblivion.
You're talking to someone who 100% at Subspace Emissary.
Oh, you fudge!
Yes, I'm one of those people. I 100%ed Subspace Emissary, so yes, I really did play the fuck out of Subspace Emissary. Okay? Found everything. Found all the hidden secrets, found all the trophies, found all, not just the characters, finding all the trophies, finding all the hidden stickers, 100% Subspace Emissary. It drove me fucking crazy. I had to get a strategy guide for it. But I really like Subspace Emissary, so I'm okay with that.
Reason why I know not to play some things 100% because because you probably be lost in your mind for doing it.
You have to be anal retentive to do it, but I am anal retentive, so. Like I said, it's not for everyone. Just for me, that was my favorite single player in Smash Brothers because it gave me what I wanted. I'm like I remember playing Smash Brothers on the GameCube.
The only time I ever tried to be 100% would be either RPGs and the Diddy Kong trilogy. I mean the Donkey Kong Country trilogy. And,
well, oh boy, I mean, I think the first one you could get 101%, but that's neither here nor there. But like the reason this Brawl had my favorite single player is because the second game, I remember playing the single player adventure mode on the GameCube. I was like, this is fine, but I wish they just make this into like a connected world instead of like different stages and shit, and like one continuous thing where you could like switch characters and stuff. And everything I wanted, they gave me with the next game. Plus, they had cool like it told a decent story. It had like some drama in there. It had interesting characters. Like characters that were truer to the characters and how they actually are in their games. Like everyone's like, King Dedede's a villain. Not really. He's not really a villain. In Subspace Emissary, he actually was trying to save the world. It's just everyone kept on fucking with him. You know, I mean, there's a lot of cool shit going on, and you know, it was a great way to unlock new characters without it being a chore, because unlocking characters in the GameCube and N64 version, some of it was just a pain in the ass. Subspace Emissary made it fun. Going through the different worlds and hearing remixes of classic tunes like The Dark World and Sticker Brush Symphony and stuff like that. I liked it. You know, and then we got Smash 4, which the single player was fucking Masahiro Sakurai pulling down his pants and mooning everybody and saying "fuck you." And then we got the single.
I got my laughs from it because they think I'm one of those people that actually played the Smash Party game. As well as
well, the reason it's offensive to me is because I was one of the people who actually liked Brawl single player. So someone basically trolling me because I liked something that I liked. He was like, "Yeah, you didn't appreciate this." I did appreciate it. I appreciate it so much that I bought the fucking strategy guide for it and 100%ed it. And I tell everyone that's my favorite one. So you're basically insulting people who liked something. Fuck you. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, he was mad that people were posting it online.
So
kind of like, dude.
So everyone has to suffer because that's like your parents driving, saying if all of you are good, we're going to get ice cream, and then one kid fucks up, so no one gets ice cream. Why the fuck should I be punished because another motherfucker fucked up? I didn't fuck up. They fucked up. That's the shit that they pulled. But anyway, so then we go to the single player, a Smash 5, which I'm sorry, it's better than Smash 4, but not by much. You know? But anyway, so I mean, it's going to be a very like all they have to do is have something between Smash Melee and Brawl. If it's better than Melee, not quite as good as Subspace Emissary, I'll be cool with it. But look, here are the characters they've announced thus far. There'll probably be more in the game. So right now they have Helga from Hey Arnold, that bitch. Danny come on, can we all agree Helga was a bitch?
Yeah.
I mean, even though once you find out her home life, it's like, oh, okay, I know why you're a bitch, because your parents are terrible people. But You know, why do you have to take it out on that football head boy? Who's like Arnold's like the coolest kid in the entire fucking show. Why are you taking that on the cool kid, you bitch? You unibrow bitch. So then they're also gonna have Danny Phantom. That show ended too early. That show was so awesome. Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob SquarePants.
Well, I'm not surprised to see those guys around.
Sandy Cheeks, the squirrel. Zim from Invader Zim. Nigel Thornberry. Smashing. Michelangelo from Teenage Mutant.
Is he gonna smack people around with a giant kipper?
I don't know, but he's the fact that I get to hear Tim Curry, a rendition of Tim Curry's voice, smashing. You're gonna have Mikey and Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You're gonna have SpongeBob SquarePants from SpongeBob SquarePants. You're gonna have Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants.
From the SquarePants.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's like one of their most popular shows, so obviously they're gonna have SpongeBob
Well, I'm not
SquarePants.
surprised.
I can't believe that show is still going.
It's still going.
Amen.
I mean, here's the thing. SpongeBob SquarePants was a show that the kid who, when I was in college, who would just sit down and get really fucking high and I'd watch cartoons with him while he was high. And I'd get it, because if you were high, I'd get a contact high from how high he was and watch SpongeBob SquarePants, because SpongeBob SquarePants is great if you're baked out of your mind. Like, especially like whenever they have the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
Like there's that episode where SpongeBob SquarePants forgets how to tie his shoes, and so he's gonna learn knots from the Flying Dutchman, and he's like, I can teach you how to tie knots. And he's like, yay! I'm gonna have to stop. I'm gonna have to ask you to stop doing that. Okay, and stop looking at me with them big old eyes. And he shrinks his big eyes down to little things, and it's hilarious if you're baked out of your mind. But, I mean, it's not a fun... Like, I think early SpongeBob is funny. No, early SpongeBob is funny as hell. Early SpongeBob, like the one where he rips his pants and he does a whole rock ballad about ripping his pants. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, this is a show that's good when you're at 420.
Yeah. Anyway, Reptar from the Rugrats, Lincoln Loud from the Loud House, Lucy Loud from the Loud House. I've never heard of the Loud House. Oblina from Real Monsters.
One guy with nine sisters living under one roof.
Oh, he must have a fucking terrible life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is mean, but probably true.
He's the middle child, mind you.
Yeah, he must have a fucking terrible life. Then they have Powdered Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy. And those are just 14 characters they announced. There probably will be more characters. Oh, it's coming to PC too. See, they didn't.
The weirdest one that stands out to me, Powdered Toast Man.
Well, they're trying to rehabilitate Ren and Stimpy because John K. Krifalewski. John K. is a piece of shit. It turns out not only was he grooming girls, but he was like he was having sex with 16-year-old girls, which watching some of the later cartoons he did makes perfect sense. He apparently had child pornography on his computer with 10, 11-year-old children. John K.
What?
And here's the fucked up thing, right? John K. created Ren and Stimpy, which influenced all the fucking cartoons that became popular during the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, you like Gumball, you like,
Wait, The Adventures of Gumball?
Yeah, if you like The Adventures of Gumball, if you like,
Oh, that sucks. I've seen clips of that show, and it actually looks pretty funny.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, okay? Like, I can separate the artist from the art because I grew up watching Ren and Stimpy as a kid. Like, it came on late at night, like around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'd watch it late at night. And I still enjoy Ren and Stimpy, but John K. is a piece of shit. I mean, he is a steaming pile of dog shit. And fuck him.
That's why I don't really take time to learn about the people who create the stuff, because I just know it's going to be very disappointed.
I mean, to be fair, most people who do insanely creative things turn out to be pieces of shit. So, like, Walt Disney was a raging anti-Semite and a racist piece of shit. So, you know. The difference is that Ren and Stimpy can go on and be used in other shit that makes it interesting. Whereas a lot of the shit that made Disney World racist still exists today. Like, only just recently have they started to have black main characters and shit like that. So, it's something that was ingrained in that shit. But anyway, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is slated to release in the fall of 2021. The game will be available on Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC. I'll be getting it on PC. I'll be getting it on PC, because why the fuck not? So there you go, folks. And those are only 14 characters. I'm guessing that they'll probably have all 4 turtles. They'll probably have Mr. Krabs. They'll probably have maybe one of the actual Rugrats characters. I'm hoping it's Stu. it's adult Stu. Or maybe Angelica's mom. Maybe you can have Angelica and her mom's actually there, so her mom can give her the ass whooping that Angelica has needed for years on that fucking show.
Yeah, let's not do that whole all grown up stuff.
Yeah, the Rugrats went downhill when they added Baby Dill. Baby Dill fucked up that show. It's like, you already have babies. Why would you add another baby to a show about babies?
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem about, it seems like this is a problem with a lot of American comedies.
We gotta add a kid. Yeah.
They start adding characters.
Like, the Fairly Odd Parents went down when Cosmo and Wanda had a baby. It's like, why would you do this? Why? Stop fucking shit up. You fucked up the whole dynamic. Why would you do that? So hopefully, and Real Monsters, I hope they add all of the major Real Monsters. I hope they add Ickis, Crumb, and their teacher, who's fucking insane with his hairpiece.
If you ask me, I would so want those two.
I loved All Real Monsters. That was a pretty good show. It got kind of dark. It was like, All Real Monsters was like, okay. All Real Monsters was Monster Incorporated before Monsters Incorporated. And better than Monsters Incorporated. Because Monsters Incorporated is stupid. I said it. Pixar, don't at me. Monsters Incorporated is a fucking stupid-ass premise. And it's not funny. You've got Billy Crystal, one of the greatest comedians of all time, and you managed to make something where he's not funny in it at all. Fuck you, Pixar. Anyway, hopefully they'll have all. And, of course, obviously, if they have Powdered Toast Man, hopefully they'll bring back Ren and Stimpy. I hope they bring out, if they're going to have characters, I hope they bring back either the Great Yak from Yaksmas or Bumblebum Whistleteats, the guy who sang Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. That song is about suicide, by the way. It is.
Yeah.
There's a line.
It reminded me of that song.
There's a line in that song. It's like, you thought I wouldn't do it. You thought I wouldn't jump, but I did. It's talking about suicide. It's which makes sense when a whole song is about happy, happy, joy, joy. I'll teach you to be happy. I'll teach you to be happy. Or I'll teach your grandmother to suck eggs. It's like, Jesus. Why is this guy so aggressive on teaching people to be happy? Because he's suicidal. He wants everyone to be happy or else. That's some Joker shit right there.
Yeah.
The Joker, he's not evil. He just wants to make you laugh. And he's going to kill you. And even if it kills you, he's going to make you laugh. Especially if it kills you.
Yeah. Yeah, that laughing gas will leave you dead with a smile on the face.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the point of the Joker. He wants you to die laughing. even if it kills. That's why he has the laughing gas, because at least you died laughing, you know. But anyway, so yeah, I personally I'm looking forward to this game. It's coming to everything, which has me a little worried, because typically speaking, when a game comes to multiple platforms, there's going to be corners cut to get to run on multiple platforms. But considering that almost everything these days is basically a mini console, except for it's basically a mini PC except for the Switch, then they probably don't have to do much to get it running. Knock on wood. Speaking of people fucking up, Ubisoft.
What did they do this time?
Oh, you know that song by the Wild Stallions, "Can't Stop, Won't Stop," Rockefeller Records, "Can't Stop, Won't Stop." Well, apparently, even though they had this big thing where they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna stop this hostile work environment and misogyny and sexual harassment towards women and people who aren't the status quo," apparently it didn't stop, because Ubisoft is being sued in the court, because in France there actually is a game developers union. Smart move. And here's who they're naming: Tommy Francois, formerly Ubisoft's vice president of editorial and creative services, for allegedly taking advantage of his position in order to harass multiple people; Sergei Haskowit, former Ubisoft chief creative officer, for allegedly taking advantage of his position in order to harass multiple people and failing to prevent similar behavior by his subordinates; Sergei Haskowit's assistant, for allegedly taking advantage of his proximity to Mr. Haskowit and harassing multiple people; Cecile Cornette, former global director of human resources, who allegedly allowed harassment to flourish within the company; several unnamed individuals from the HR department for having actively participated in covering up and hiding the harasser's actions; and Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, for not specific allegations, but because as CEO he is responsible for what happens within the company. It's a class action lawsuit, so a lot of people signed up on it, and there you go.
I'm going to say this: the trouble keeps on piling on. I'm wondering when the floor's going to break from under them.
And they still there's still people at Ubisoft who are like, yeah, they have not addressed the problems that. Because think about it, this shit had been going on for at least a decade, right? It had been going on for at least a decade before that piece came out last year, and people were fired. So, essentially speaking, there's no way you can run a multi-billion-dollar company and have people in high-up positions like this, and as CEO not be aware of these allegations being bandied about, even in private. So, yeah, Yves Guillemot shares some responsibility. Matter of fact, he probably shares the greatest responsibility, because he's the fucking overall boss of all this shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you know.
This one.
No, go ahead.
This won't be the first time they get sued.
No. If this goes through, they're gonna keep on getting sued, and they should, because, you know, I'm always taken back to that whole guy who's like, yeah, this woman is aggravating me. I should bend her over and fuck her up the ass until her mind opens up. That is some fucked up, rapey ass shit to say. I'm sorry. So you say some shit like that, I'm like, you don't like women. Not only do you not like women, but you don't like yourself, because, you know, I mean,
the females.
No, you don't. You don't like your mother, because clearly, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure most of us, according to nature, came from a woman at some point. And if you treat other women like that, you damn sure don't like your mother. Because your mother was a woman. So this is a terrible human being who really shouldn't be in any position of power over anybody. You know, and I went to PC Gamer and put this into another thing where they were talking about it, and Ubisoft shill was attacking people for talking about the shit. So, knock on wood. hopefully this shit will, these people will be sued. And hopefully the workers will win, because you should, like, here's the thing. Working is, like, just getting up, driving to work, doing your job is bullshit enough. You don't need to add, oh, I might be sexually harassed on top of that. You know what I'm saying? Just living day to day is tough enough. You don't need to add, oh, my boss might make a sexually threatening comment about me on top of that. But, you know, it is what it is. So with that being said, this leads to the final part of the cast, where we nominate our a-hole of the week. Unless you guys have anything you want to bring up. Joel, wake up. You're sleeping. Anything you guys want to bring up?
I wasn't sleeping because of anything. You heard me talking.
I did, but then you started snoring a little bit. But anyway, do you have anything you want to add to the end of the podcast? Any topic you want to bring up that you're like, okay, I gotta...
If anything,
this has to be mentioned.
Say this right now. Ubisoft, welcome back to the BS Hall of Fame. Again. God. Dang it. Can you guys stop trying to be on here for at least 1 week?
You know what? I would agree with you, but I mean, they can't stop, won't stop. You know how in Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm's like, life finds a way. Ubisoft finds a way to be more shitty. Every week you're like, no, it surely can't get worse. It gets worse.
I was hoping that at least we could stop talking about them for 1 week and have a different nominee for the a-hole of the week. Because I would honestly nominate Tommy for this one if it wasn't for Ubisoft.
I would, but the whole rape thing just kind of like, well, I can't not talk about this because you're fucking...
that's the thing. Ubisoft keeps on finding a way to get back into the rankings. Seriously, EA looks embarrassed looking at you.
Yeah, the whole rape thing just kind of ruins it for me. Like, hey, let's
be sure that our female employees' minds are open.
Yeah, that whole your mind is bothering me, so I can open up your mind. I'm like, fuck, that is dark and
God,
rapey as fuck. I can't take that. I can take a lot of stuff, but that is a bridge too far even for me. But with that being said,
and so our a-hole of the week is Ubisoft again.
Ubisoft once again. Kenoshi, anything you want to bring up before we nominate our a-hole of the week? Yes.
Nope.
All right. I'm going to have to go with Ubisoft yet again because they have had a year to clean house and get their house in order. And
as I said, Ubisoft has done it again.
And they've done nothing to address the issues except sit on their ass and pretend like nothing's happened.
They're trying to claim months of our a-hole of the week.
So once again,
I'll say it.
Ubisoft.
Hey, congratulations, Ubisoft. Your a-holes of the week.
Asshole of the week. I mean, personally, I'm tired of talking about Ubisoft, but if they keep on doing shitty stuff, asshole shitty stuff, then, I mean, what else can you do? You can't ignore it. You can't be like, well, I ain't gonna say nothing, even if it annoys you.
For me, I'm just hoping that there's somebody that I was hoping that EA or somebody else would at least do something to let us get a breather from Ubisoft.
I wish so too, but you know, Ubisoft just can't stop fucking up. They just can't. They can't stop fucking up. They can't.
Let's hope next week they don't give us something to bite them on again. At least I hope.
I don't know. So anyway, before we finish things, what have you guys been watching?
I'm watching My Hero Academia here and there.
Really? How is it?
It's alright. It's okay. I mean, it's not anything mind-blowing. It's a fun anime to watch.
Alright. I tried to watch Space Jam 2, the whatever the fuck it's called.
A New Legacy.
Yeah, I tried to watch it, but I was like,
Is that cheesy or that corny?
Well, no. How can I put this? I'm gonna say this, and I know some people are gonna get mad at me, but I don't care. The whole time I was watching, I got to like a third of it, and I'm like, the whole time I'm watching, I'm like,
CGI for that movie?
Well, it's not even the CGI. It's like I would rather see just a Looney Tunes movie, rather than watch LeBron James and because it's basically what I mean. The movie's not bad. It's better than the original. It's better than the original Space Jam because Michael Jordan may be a great athlete, but the fucker couldn't act to save his life.
Oh.
Oh God.
That thing was atrocious.
What do you mean? I'm acting. I'm Michael Jordan.
Oh man, this act. Oh, that.
I do believe if
Michael
you
Jordan.
stabbed Michael Jordan in the leg, he would have no reaction. He'd be like, ow. That kinda sorta hurt. I'm the best. I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So LeBron James is automatically has more charisma about him, so I'll give him that much credit. I will be honest on that. But like the whole time I was watching, I'm like, I would rather just have like a new I'd rather just have bring back Duck Dodgers. You know? Bring back some shit like that. It feels like basically here's what the shit feels like. It feels like Warner Brothers went and said, okay, we need something that's gonna sell people on what's it called? HBO Max. And that's cool and all. But then they realized, oh shit, we need to sell people on HBO Max, but the people they gave it to wanted to make an actual movie. So there are parts of the movie where it's like, this is a movie, and then there are parts of the movie where
it doesn't make sense.
There are parts of the movie where you can clearly tell, okay, they're just trying to sell you on some shit. And it's annoying because it's like, there's an actual movie here. You know? There's a legit movie here, but I keep on getting all this other shit that has fuck all to do with the actual movie. You know? It's basically like a better version of Tron. That's what it basically is. It's this is a better version of Tron. That's what it is. So, anyway, yeah, I've been watching it and I'm like, I'm not really feeling it. I'm really feeling it. Not feeling it.
Oh, come off with the Xenoblade jokes.
I'm not.
What's the whole plot of? What was the whole plot of the movie?
Okay, so basically, LeBron James is approached by this corporation because they want him to sell out in order to sell something. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And so the supercomputer that works for this, that's, under this corporation, says, well, I'm going to kidnap your son and you're going to do this shit anyway. And, you're going to play a game and you're going to sell out. And if you don't, I'm going to take your son. And if you do, you're still going to do what I tell you to do. And guess what? Oh, those Looney Tunes who are with you, if they lose, I'm going to race their asses too. So it's like, it's kind of like Don Cheadle is a much better villain than the dude they had in
the original.
In the original, yeah. Yeah, it's better.
The Monstars.
Oh.
Then, the Monsters were the villain. It was the guy who they worked for, who was their boss, who was the villain. But so Don Cheadle is a better villain.
So if they failed, they would all get erased. Is that what?
Yeah, they get erased, which is kind of fucked up because I like the Looney Tunes. I grew up watching the Looney Tunes, and it's like the whole time I'm like I said, I'm only like 30, 40 minutes into it, and I'm like, man, I just wish you guys would just do a fucking Looney Tunes movie or do a new Looney Tunes series or bring back Duck Dodgers or something, because I don't really fucking want another Space Jam.
What was that Duck Dodgers cartoon that came out in the mid 2000s?
Well, early 2000s, yeah. Duck Dodgers in the 31st and a half century, and that was a good show.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. It had Tia Carrere as the Martian princess, and the Martian princess was fucking hot. I'm like, I don't know.
Dangerously hot. Yeah.
Duck Dodgers, you should just do it, man. Do it for the Earth. Do it. She's hot, man. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Do it. That's from
oh God.
That's from that movie, Starsky and Hutch, the remake. Do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that was a Star Wars reference in there too.
Do or do not. There is no try. But anyway, yeah. So I would love them to just bring back the Looney Tunes. It doesn't have to be on it doesn't have to be on television. It could be on other shit, but
on streaming platforms.
It could be on streaming platforms. The thing is I'm not really anti-streaming platforms. I know some people are like, streaming, blah, how dare they? I'm not against streaming. For some things, especially for shit that's bingeable, streaming is great. For bingeable shit. For non-streamable shit, for shit where it's like you like the anticipation. Like, I wish Disney Plus was, I wish most of their shit was just bingeable instead of waiting week by week by week, because I'm spoiled. I get tired of waiting, But, to each his own. But anyway, that's my opinion. Anything you guys want to pimp out, mention, anything you've been playing where you're like, okay, this is really awesome, and I think other people should play it too?
I think everybody should pick up Guilty Gear Strive.
I would, but that I was gonna get it, but then I saw how expensive the season passes were for all the extra characters and shit, and I was like, I'm gonna wait till the price drops. Nope.
Sure, he's gonna wait for the full edition.
I'm gonna wait until they have a sale on and then get it, cause I mean I'm cheap. Okay? I'm fucking cheap, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, some people are like, how dare you? I like being cheap. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to spend a lot of money.
I would say there's cheaper things to game with, but they'd be analog.
I mean, how can I put this? I'm not against. I'm not against spending full price for certain games, but for other shit, I just don't want to spend a lot of money. I'm cheap about certain things, and I like fighting games, but I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of money to get everything. Because like shit that they now charge as DLC, back in the day they were just unlockables. You know? And no one is immune to it. Nintendo's been doing it with their games, with like Smash Brothers. They did it with like that ridiculously overpriced DLC for some of the shit.
Really? It's that overpriced?
Well, if you get the season pass, it's not. To be honest with you, Ultimate isn't as bad as 4 was. 4 was ridiculous. 4 was like, okay, you are bending over and fucking my wallet. This is not fun.
Yeah, cause as much as I would be laughing my rear end off about some of this, the only thing I can really hate on the Wii U version of Smash is how they handled the extra characters.
Oh yeah, like if you wanted to get all the extra characters, you didn't want to spend.
And that's especially painful if you're somebody that plays both Wii U and 3D.
Yeah, I mean, if you basically didn't want to spend all the money, they basically were going to charge you. You would spend for the base game in both versions. You were spending around, I want to say like,
close to $80.
No, it was more than that for both versions. Like, because think about it, the base game on the, let's say it was 90.
DLC only before I aim for the base price.
I'm including everything. The base price for like because when I did this, I bought the base game. No, I bought the special edition that came with the GameCube controller and the connector. So that was $90. Let's say plus tax. Let's say $100. Okay, $100 plus $50, including tax for the 3DS version. Then it's another $90. No, it's more than that. It's like $100 for the DLC, for all the DLC and shit, and characters and the Mii fighters. That's $250 fucking dollars. That shit is ridiculous.
Yeah, it got really ridiculous with Smash 4. At least it's an extra $60.
You know, and people were making excuses for the shit. Well, that's Namco Bandai. I mean, I don't know who it was. I was one of them.
That it feels like Namco Bandai, but it's also a little bit iffy on that. That's the thing, because I'm one of those people that had to buy both versions too. get them for both versions. So that hit me harder than most.
I did it because I wanted to support the franchise. Because I was like, you know what, the Switch is suffering, and I don't want Nintendo to lose a lot of money for some bullshit. So I'm going to actually support the company because I like the company. Because I was one of those people.
I bet you only bought one version.
No, I have both versions of Smash Brothers for 4.
Yeah, I bought them both too.
I bought both of them. I got all the DLC. 250.
That was practically when I was broke. I still bought both of those copies.
$250 goddamn dollars. Like, I really put a lot of money into that system.
Yeah, and when you got you had to buy the 3DS version of them separately, I believe.
Yeah. Well, you could get a deal where it was like a slight discount. I mean, that's the shit they pulled. And I was like, look, I know the Wii U is selling that much. You guys need to make money. I let it slide. I didn't say shit, but they're still kind of doing it though. Like,
at least they were kinda on the wallet for.
It's not as bad as before because you only have one system you have to do it for, but it's still kind of like, really?
No. Oh, it's softer because they actually went lower on how much they hit your wallet.
No, I mean, I said it is lower, but it's still, like, just because it's to a lesser degree doesn't mean it's not a problem. And I stand by that statement. It is a fucking problem. But, it is what it is. But yeah, like, that was the thing where I was kind of like, okay, I have a problem with this. But anyway, that's my opinion. That's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. And shameless plug. I have a upcoming video next week, Saturday. I keep on saying Saturday. Sunday at not Sunday. Friday at 10 o'clock. Is it 10 o'clock? Shit. No! Damn you! No, it's going to be premiering at 9:30. 9:30 a.m. Friday, July 23rd. Oh, God. It's the re-review of Paper Mario Origami King. You will see if maybe I was too harsh. Maybe it's gone down. Maybe I think less of it since then. Maybe I like it more. I don't know. Choice is yours. Take a look at it.
If I know you better, I know the answer already.
I mean, I'll tell you off air. It's not what people think. I know some people are gonna be like, "Oh, you hate that game." Actually, nah. Kenoshi, anything you want to pimp up before we wrap things up?
No, I'm good.
All right, that's the end of the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, and